Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight on Monday, 21st of June, 2020. Remember to share our live stream. We are on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali, on YouTube, TT Real Talk. For those of you who haven't subscribed on YouTube as yet, feel free to do so. Now, viewers, share our live stream, call your friends, call your family, let them know Real Talk with Saieed Ali is going live on Synergy Television. So viewers, just a reminder, those of you that are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me. Those of you who lend your friend and your family your hard-earned cash and you cannot get it back, feel free to contact Real Talk, that collection department, and they will be glad to assist you in any way possible. So viewers, as we start up our program tonight, Caribbean Airlines is expected to send home a quarter of its employees across the regional and international network. Some 450 workers in total. The company made this disclosure in an official statement released today, in which it reveals loss of some $172 million and a 75% decline in revenue for the first quarter of 2021. So just imagine, 450 workers going home, regional and international, from CAL. Now, CAL stated that a retrenchment is necessary in order to help the company survive, notwithstanding current moves to reopen TT's border and to facilitate international travelers once again. According to CAL, its current flight and cargo operation would not be affected by the changes. Viewers, feel free to call in 238-6716. Let's have a discussion tonight. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed and all the listeners. A couple of things I want to talk. It have a young fella who is the CEO of NCREJ, and his name rhymes with javelin. And I believe he's the Doubting Thomas. I am saying that he was part of a press conference today, and where he say, what they are saying, CEO Lord's vaccine VIP experience. But I'm not too sure if those reporters are intelligent, because the first question I would have asked him, 737 people died. A large portion of that would have been in the facility he is part of, the hospital. Were they given VIP treatment? I would have asked him to respond for that. And the second question I would shoot with an AR-15 behind him, verbally and not real thing, is that since he made and introduced the rotation policy, remember he made a big fiasco and all the experienced doctors, he sent them away and he bring a new one. Since that new rotation policy came in, how many people have died since? Those are the two things I would ask him, if they are still getting VIP treatment or they are not getting VIP treatment. If they're getting VIP treatment, some of their lives would have been saved there. So I believe they're supposed to fire you. Fire Terrence Terrible, because 4 digits coming, I believe by the mid-July. I have a particular date I will tell you when I come on the next time. Have a nice night. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. So viewers, Caribbean Airlines is set to send home 450 workers. I wonder how many are going in Trinidad. How many Trinidadian will be cut from CAL? Sad, but a lot of businesses have been closed down. A lot of business. Some can't even recover from last year. But nevertheless, we're rolling along. I get an echo. Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith, whose contract term ends in August, will be among the candidates to be considered by the Police Service Commission when it begins the process to select a commissioner by the House of Representatives. While Griffith chose not to comment, sources confirmed that he will be among the nominees for police commissioner for his second term. So viewers, do you think the police commissioner have done a wonderful job over the last 3 years. Now his term is due to complete in August. So do you think the police commissioner have served Trinidad and Tobago well? Let's hear your discussion tonight. Is it yes or is it no? Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Mr. Ali, there are so many things that, you have questions about. I don't know about the rest of the country, but I know about me. And I need accountability, because if I have a government representing me, whether I vote for them or not,
yes,
they're supposed to represent the country.
Correct.
Right? And we need accountability for every cent spent.
Yes.
On everything that is being run in this country. This government is hiding too many funding. Everything where finance is concerned, Mr. Rowley keeps hiding, and I'm going to take him Mr. away, because Rowley, he doesn't even deserve a handle to his name. This government is over-thieving from us, and we as citizens of this country need to stand up. Come on, people. We need this fight. We're not taking dictatorship anymore. Just 2 weeks ago on Saturday, he spoke about getting Carl together.
Yes.
And I remember him saying, we will mention it during the course of the week as discussions come about. Is this what he was talking about? Sending home people home? No, this is unfair. This is totally unfair. Another thing is, every single utility is going up.
Correct.
While our citizens are at home without any money, without food, and we have to pay it. Why do we have to pay it? Why? Why it is that we have to be taking this? Come on, we need to stand up, and we have somebody like Mr. Saieed Ali representing and standing in the gap for us. Mr. Ali, we thank you, and we thank you for your show, but we need to stand up as citizens and come together. And I thank Mrs. Kamala Prasad for the work that she's doing, standing as well for us. Thank you, Mr. Ali.
Thank you, my dear. So, viewers, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is now seeking to balance the scale of saving lives and livelihood, with construction set to resume work on June 28. Speaking at a conference, the PM stated hopes to cautiously restart the economy.
In terms of coming out cautiously, the next action that we are likely to take, and I'm using the word likely, is bringing out the construction sector, and I trust by then a significant number of construction workers would have been vaccinated, and so the population of Trinidad and Tobago would see increased movement and exposure from those persons who are in or associated with construction.
Now, viewers, so far, 15,000 members of the sector have been vaccinated. Rowley admits that the reopening of the construction sector, along with assisting sectors like hardware and paint shop, will mean an increase in movement. Question on the reopening of street food. The PM stated that the food and beverage industry will have to wait a bit longer. He advised persons to eat home food.
House food. For a few weeks, I presume. You can't have it both ways. If we do that and we capsize the arrangement, and Dr. Hines comes here and tells us that we got a redoubling, and Dr. Richards comes and tells us we have no beds in the hospital, street food gone, you know. So what we'll suggest, for the period when there is no street food, make a sandwich at home, put your pot on fire at home, at least for a little while. And then we will get to the street food stage where when we bring out street food, it doesn't pose that additional threat and risk. It's a management of risk, which you manage by the reduction in the number of people. We'd love to have everybody out doing everything, you know. But because that is what the virus would require, we have to forego certain things for the time being.
Now, viewers, according to the PM, the ultimate aim, he noted, is to have children back out to school by September. Now, for the last 2 to 3 days, there have been some bacchanal with Trinidad and Guyana over a statement. Meanwhile, Guyana's Vice President, Dr. Barra Jagdeo, advised that there is no functional evidence which shows that a lockdown will reduce the spread of COVID-19 virus. Listen to this.
A number of people have called for changes of protocol, more lockdown, and we have demonstrated that there is no empirical evidence to say that by shifting curfew hours, you're going to get less rates of infection, because people often during the course of the day, they engage in economic activities and other activities that without wearing a mask or observing any protocol. So, but we will keep a close watch on the situation. Having said that, working aggressively to build the capability, we also, as I pointed out, had to have this nuanced approach, unlike some countries that are totally shut down. Look at Trinidad and Tobago. Look at the numbers there. And that country has been almost in a perpetual state of lockdown for the past year. And it did not help, really. They now have numbers, 20-something dying in a single day, etc. So we have to keep people working to at least economic activities going, and at the same time try to urge our people, all of our people, every single one of them, to try to come in, take the vaccine, be responsible. If we all vaccinated, then we can open up our country.
Vice President for Guyana realized that. He realized that in Trinidad, many business places are shut down permanently. Many business owners are owing on loan and cannot seem to pay it. So they had no other choice but to shut down their operations completely. Completely. Like he said, for the past year, we've been in lockdown. Did we prove anything? Did we prove anything? Did the administration prove anything to us? We went into lockdown and the numbers keep growing. We went into lockdown and the death keep rising. We went into lockdown, people started to lose focus. You know why they started to lose focus? Because the bills started building up and the banks started to call. And what happened? What happened? Some lose car, some lose house. I heard I allegedly heard the Prime Minister, together with the Ministry of Education Minister, they are concerned now about over 2,000 dropouts from online. How come? Why? Why? So according to the President, the Vice President, Barra Jagdeo, what evidence is there to show that the lockdown is helping? What evidence? I want to ask the scientists, what evidence? I want to ask the Minister of Health, what evidence is there? Caller, good night.
Good night, gentlemen. Gary, you know what will make you look like a real man in the position of commissioner? If you had charged in board, make your policemen charge him board and charge Rowley for not wearing a mask. And all this corruption that is taking place, not an investigation. But you're still better than the nincompoops they might put. But I will recommend you for the next 5 years and be a man of steel. That is what we need, a man of steel. Because they want to put a Judas, you know. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Have the lockdown proved anything? Now, I'm going to tell you something. The vice president is in Guyana. Look at Trinidad. Look at the statistics. Look at the growth. He is concerned about his economy. He is concerned about his economy. We have to get people vaccinated. We have to have people working in order to stimulate the country's economy. In Trinidad, what are they doing? What are their plans? What are their plans? To keep us locked down after how much months? What did it prove? 2386716. Let me hear what you have to say. We're talking reality. We're talking reality. Caller, good night.
That was up by you during the weekend with the silver van, and they given me trouble up in the market. Yes, well, right. Well, boy, I don't know what it is you could do for me, because I find, look, Makoya market running real smooth and nice. I don't even have a pass to go in Makoya, and I was able to get in Makoya. But I go in Tong market for 5 years now, and it's only a racket they're running down there. They're looking for you to pay $20 to go in there when you pay $200 a month fee to go in up there too. So when you done it for the month, it's close to $300 you pay to go in inside there.
All right, so Kola, let me ask you some question. For the last 5 years, you have been going to the Port of Spain market, right?
Yes.
All right, so you pay a monthly fee to the corporation, right?
Yeah.
Now, on top of that fees, right, I know that there are security posted by the gate. Now,
right.
Are they asking you for extra money to go into the market?
No, they're not asking, but the brand are giving you the and they're putting peer pressure and you're telling them, well, make the wrongs and go back, so they go by the other gate and stuff, right? They're looking forward for you to do that, because when you realize you're under pressure and you have goods on your vehicle, you will say, well, pull out 20 days at the boss, let me go in, you understand?
I understand. But have you seen this happen to other vendors?
That's right, my father does pay.
But you do have a pass.
I have a vendor's badge.
And, wow.
And I have my receipt stating where it is I pay in weekly to go in that market. And they allow my father to go in this week, and they make my van turn around, and the police officers telling me there that if it is I go in into the market, they will lock me up.
So you
They will make sure that my van do not go in into the market.
You have a pass to enter into the market, a vendor's pass. You pay your monthly fee to enter the market.
And they didn't allow me to.
And the officers at the market by the gate telling you cannot go in?
That's right. That is right.
Wow.
And it's only me they're targeting. Since this COVID now, it's only me that they are targeting in the market. I don't know if it is how it is I am young or something, that they just want to target me in the market.
That the Port of Spain market?
Yes, that's Central Market.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Well, now that the matter is highlighted, I hope that, thank you for calling in, my friend. Now that the matter is highlighted, I hope that anybody else have to pay to enter the Central Market other than the fee, the monthly fee that they are paying. Contact me to 3391670, and let's see how many people have to pay other salary than your other payments than your monthly fee. So viewers, can the CMO, can Dr. Avery Hines, can the Prime Minister, can the Ministry of Health tell us if the lockdown helped? Can they come out and say, yes, it worked? The death is increasing. The cases have been increasing. People are home. TNTech is revising their rates. WASA revising their rates. Digital internet bill presently I believe from the 1st of July, I believe their bill will be going up on internet speed. So bills are increasing, debts are rising, cases are going up, and yet the banks are calling for those who have loan, and yet the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are home. How come? How come? Kola, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
My friend, go right ahead.
I tried to get in earlier. I didn't know if you talked about it already. I hear something on the news that the government of the U.S. is blanking Trinidad and Tobago
Yes.
about the vaccines. I don't know if this is true. But remember in the past, we had I don't know how to call that post now, female with a kind of bald head looking like a bowler, saying that the U.S., what they could do, we who care about them, we don't care about them.
I remember that. There's a minister said that.
Now we getting the treatment with the U.S. care about we. You so small and you figure you could interact with big people and say as you want. When you're supposed to be side with them and looking for help from them, you're trying to talk up like if you is a bad John, where they could do we don't care about them. Well, they're showing you what they care about we now. And they know what they're doing, you know. They take 18 billion, God knows what they do with it, they give it to who they want to give and they hide up where they want to hide it up. So they know what they're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that the time have come to manage a reopening of 10 borders by the second week in July if the trend of COVID-19 case continue to decline. He stated that this decision is still on track.
We said to you at an earlier time that we are taking steps to reopen our border with some caution and conditions, and that would take place in the second week of July, right? Somewhere around the second week of July. We are still on track for that. We still expect to be able to do that. Cal and the ministries have worked out the arrangements, and during the coming week, the relevant authorities will tell you what the conditions are, and we are preparing to have scheduled air service into Trinidad and Tobago and operate the managed border.
So now, viewers, did the minister talk about opening back the borders because of the statement that Vice President of Guyana, Barra Jack, they said, listen to this.
A number of people have called for changes of protocol, more lockdown, and we have demonstrated that there is no empirical evidence to say that by shifting curfew hours, you're going to get less rates of infection, because people often during the course of the day, they engage in economic activities and other activities that without wearing a mask or observing any protocol. So, but we will keep a close watch on the situation. Having said that, working aggressively to build the capability, we also, as I pointed out, had to have this nuanced approach. Unlike some countries that are totally shut down. Look at Trinidad and Tobago. Look at the numbers there. And that country has been almost in a perpetual state of lockdown for the past year. And
so viewers, is it because of that? No, that is the reality. No, that was a statement made in a press briefing. That was a statement made. They have no evidence, no data to support that the lockdown is preventing the spread of the COVID-19. They have none. What happened since we went into lockdown? You be the judge. Every press briefing and every conference is because the case keep going up. The deaths keep rising. The border's locked. The border's locked. Caller, good night.
A very good evening to you, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
Is it all right if I just say something different to the current topic?
No problem.
Okay. So we have a big brouhaha and a big drama is taking place in Trinidad because Michael B. Jordan, the rum. He launched his brand of rum called Juve, and we have a big problem with that in Trinidad. However, the word Juve is not patented by anybody, one. And two, we Trinidad have been violating people's intellectual property rights all the time. We don't have a problem. Take, for example, a new security company is on the market now called Port Protection, with an anchor in the, as the logo. Port Protection is a place in Alaska. That's the name of a place in Alaska. That's the real name of the place. We don't have a problem with that. There's a new health center called Liberty Medical Services with the Statue of Liberty in the advertisement. We don't have a problem with that. We only have a problem. There was a time when a Panamanian was singing a song and they used our melody. We had a problem with that. Yeah. All these local chutney artists and from Ravi B to Ricky, everybody have been using foreign Bollywood melodies and putting local words to it. And we don't have a problem with that. All the best. Have a great evening.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you, my friends. Thank you so much for your comments. Now, viewers, PM added that travelers must be vaccinated with a World Health Organization WHO approved emergency use vaccine. He noted that the reopening of the borders will not be a free-for-all, as there will be protocols in place to treat with vaccinated and unvaccinated.
The open border is not a free-for-all. It will be a border which should be open for activities. The most important thing would be there'll be scheduled arrangements, and persons who are vaccinated as against who are not vaccinated would be treated as groups of people with different conditions.
So now, viewers, however, the PM's, the Prime Minister's major concern is the possible importation of the latest variant of the virus, the Delta variant, which is circulating in North America. Also, for clarification on the issue of the Pfizer vaccine that came into the country last week, he stated that there was nothing to clarify. Nothing. PM said he knew it was coming, but dismissed suggestion that it was a sinister plot to hide information from the country.
I'm told not to go to work. And you are also on the government payroll in the parliament and you have nothing to do. You could get involved in all kinds of things, you know. It just keeps the mind going. There's nothing to clarify because it was clarified from day one. And for those of you who raised and made a, made a big issue of the fact that I didn't raise it here, and it got front page about hush hush and secrecy and curious, I'm glad you had something to put on your front page. Because clearly, if I had mentioned it here, you'd have had a blank first page. I could not have mentioned it here last Saturday because after the government gave the approval for the department to accept the gift, no information came back as to when the gift would actually be handed over or when it would actually arrive in the country. So when I spoke here at 2 o'clock last week, I had no idea where the gift was. What I did know is that an offer was made and the department here was authorized to accept it.
The man said, if you stay home and you have nothing to do, you will be confused. You'll be haywire. Run back to the first 5 seconds in that video.
When you're home and told not to go to work, and you are also on the government payroll in the parliament and you have nothing to do, you could get involved in all kinds of things, you know. It just keeps the mind going. There's nothing to clarify because it was clarified from day.
You hear that? If you're on the government payroll and you're home and you have nothing to do, you go. All I hear that is the words from the Prime Minister. All I will go. So what about the people who are not in the government sector? They're not in the government sector. They're not working for the government and they're home. How are they going? How are they going? I want to ask the Prime Minister that. Is only the people in the government sector that would be going like this? Huh? I want to ask him that. Is only the government workers going like this? What about the thousands of people that are in the private sector and they are home? Are they not going like this? Mr. Prime Minister? Now that is a mashup for all the Trinidadians. That is a mashup. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
I had two topics, right? The first topic, I hear they want to open the border, right? And they ain't vaccinated 1 million people yet in Trinidad. They ain't vaccinated 300,000 people.
Correct.
They want to open our border. And the Delta flaunting in America and Canada right now, like craziness. Right? So how you going to open our border for the virus to come and spread and kill out the people when you don't have vaccine to vaccinate the people in Trinidad right now? You ain't do 300,000 yet. You have to do 1 million before you open the border. Understand? And the next topic is about Wasa. Wasa sending dirty water in the pipe for people, stink water.
I saw that over the weekend.
If they like if you have pitch oil in it, boy, like they want to kill people, we have to get the police to go and lock up Wasa, lock up all the managers in Wasa.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, so the people who home now that are not working in the government sector, the thousands of people that are home that working in the private sector, they're not going like this. According to the Prime Minister, you have to be in the government sector to be home and to be going like this. People they say, oh, Saeed, why is you bashing the PNM? I'm not bashing the PNM. I'm bashing the foolish statement made by the man who is governing Trinidad and Tobago. Only the government people, the government sectors, people working in the government, if you're home and you have nothing to do, you intend to go like this. You call that bashing the PNM? No, that is not bashing the PNM. That is highlighting the foolish statement made by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. So what about the thousands of citizens that are not presently employed with the government sector and they are with the private sector in our country? Are they going like this or are they going like this? The opposite side. You tell me. You tell me. Caller, good night.
Good evening, Mr. Saeed.
Yes, my friend.
Saeed, there's a saying that you may not like a person in an office, but you have a respect for the office.
I have respect for the man.
No, what I'm saying is that if the man who holding the office now has no respect for that office, how you could have respect for that office?
Correct.
Let me tell you something. You see this man named Keith Rowley is the most disrespectful, inappropriate, disgraceful human being that ever sit in any high office throughout the world. I tell you, he worse than Idi Amin and Hitler and these kind of people right now. Because to come and lie with a straight face of population is so disgusting and disgraceful to the lowest level. Just imagine, he's the head of CARICOM. And right now, a travel bubble has been set up for tourism within the Caribbean with Barbados and St. Lucia and all this, and Trinidad and Tobago is not included in that. That alone shows the kind of disrespect people have for this man. They don't want him no part of anything. We get rejected for getting donations on the vaccine from America because you cannot be being allies with China, Venezuela, all the people who is against the American way of governance and everything. You is allies with these countries, and then you want to get free vaccine from these people. All this is people that understand what diplomacy is about and how a man who holds that office supposed to be a man with a diplomatic way of thinking, not for yourself, not because ignorant and stupid, for the people who you are the leader of. And so far, everything since the 6 years that this man holds our office, he had been shown total disrespect for the office. And that is why we are in that situation today. We haven't got no vaccine. So they had to prolong this situation where we have a few vaccines. The study said they're vaccinating the construction workers.
Correct.
That vaccine could have been administered to people within a week time. And then we wouldn't have no more vaccine, so people would have been dying, and then they would have nothing to talk about. That is the disrespect this man have for this country. And then the African Union, where they joined, there is some Ponzi scheme where we would never ever get any vaccine from that, because the whole of Africa right is in chaos because of COVID, how it's spreading on that side. So we don't lose out there, we lose out in America, and now we have to depend on China to send in this vaccine. We have no efficacy against the Delta variant right now.
Thank you, my friend.
Mr. Saieed. Take care.
So viewers, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parashram have stated that quarantine will play a critical role in keeping Trinidad and Tobago safe as the government looks to reopen its borders. This after Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated that TNT could reopen the scheduled flights by mid-July. However, Dr. Parashram added that they are concerned about the possibility of a new variant entering the country via travelers. He stated that there will be policies in place, such as quarantine, as it is on other parts of the world.
Suffice it to say, with the second question as it relates to the border, the Prime Minister did mention it is not there will still be policies in place in terms of quarantine. So again, those policies will be in place still, even though you have an open border, as it is in other parts of the world, where different persons, based on their condition, where they come from, whether they're vaccinated or not, will be put into different sections in terms of quarantine. So quarantine will still play a critical role in keeping the country safe from the introduction of COVID-19 and other variants. So I don't want to go beyond that. Of course, we will make recommendations, and other ministries are involved, to the Honorable Prime Minister, and then in the coming weeks, those decisions will be made public.
So viewers, Trinidad and Tobago is not part of the CARICOM travel bubble expected to be instituted at the end of this month in Barbados. So that put we aside. Listen to this. Over the weekend, Barbados Prime Minister Maya Amor Motley announced the new travel bubble coming into effect at the end of this month for full vaccinated travelers with negative PCR tests. Travelers from countries named in the bubble will now be quarantined. They will not be quarantined to do PCR tests or quarantine upon arrival in Barbados. So Barbados is to open up. However, citizens from TNT were not included in this travel bubble, which means vaccinated citizens will still be tested at Grantley Adams Airport, and unvaccinated travelers will be required to go into a 5-day quarantine. This is the second such attempt at a CARICOM travel bubble. Why? Why were we left out? Why? Could somebody say why? So now viewers, since we get blanked from entering Barbados, listen to this. Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, has confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago does not qualify for a share of the 500 million vaccine promised by the United States to the COVAX facility. A representative from the body confirmed this after clarification on whether TNT would be getting any of the vaccine, which are meant only for donor-funded countries. Are we not donor funded? We are funded. We are funded. But listen to this. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley also referred to the vaccine promised by the U.S., saying that it was a promise that had not materialized. While the PM was unsure on whether TNT would qualify for the donated dose, the Gavi official confirmed that TNT was out of the running for the donated jab. Now, I was reading the article today. You know what stopped us? You know what stopped us from getting that contribution or donation from the US? You know what stopped us? When we purchased Sinopharm vaccine from China. That stopped us. That stopped us. That stopped us. We purchased vaccine. How did we purchase vaccine? Remember, the government of Trinidad and Tobago secured a loan from China government for 204 million US. And remember, we purchased vaccine. Well, if you read the article that was published from Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance system, I read it. Because we purchased vaccine. After reading the article, that stopped us from getting that donation. How sad, eh? How sad. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed. Saeed, I am back inside again. Mash up Monday. You hit the nail on your head. If I negotiate a loan to buy vaccine, me I want no donation, me I begging for nothing, and I tell Modi I want nothing.
That is what Gavi said.
I could go and talk Chinese and get Chinese. So when Trump say we is a SH country, Trump was right. We playing big bad and we looking. No, more importantly, you see that press conference on Saturday? That Pittman is a joker. And he tells so much untruths. He came to the conference. He came to the press briefing. He started on time, 2:31. He knew that 19 people would have died because 19 people would not have died within an hour. So he had that information. And he didn't tell the people inside the press room, hey, starting on this footing, we have 19, so let me make the plan to move forward. But he hid it. If he only had mentioned that, the whole press briefing would have turned upside down. Because they asked him how much he expect to dead, so much dead before we get this thing fixed. Now, the other thing, you know your partner, Avery Hines, the man who had to tell we get scholarship, he likes statistics. I want to teach him statistics tonight because they wouldn't invite me to the press conference, so I'm using your show to ask him a question. I want to ask him in May how many people died. By my analysis, 326. As of today,
for the month of June, it's 200 and something.
242.
Right, correct, 242.
I want to know if that's going up or that going down.
And we locked down, eh?
It's going down. Is it going up or going down? I think it's not a slight decrease. I think it's a slight increase. So all this rubbish that is we talking and fooling people's statistics, they don't come with the debt at all, you know. They don't bring up that at all. And those lame journalists, they are the cause of Trinidad to be in this predicament, you know, because they're not asking the questions that the citizens depend to ask. I just ask more hard questions on your show for them to hear. I'm going to have a nice night.
Thank you, my friend. 242 died in June and we locked down. 242 in June and we locked down. We can't come out. And then the Minister of Health will come out and say that the citizens them not behaving. You wept. You wept a tear when they pull up by the Brian Lara. Not Brian Lara. Oh gosh. How the place never gave in Port of Spain? But the health minister wept. The promenade. He pulled up by the promenade in his vehicle. He pulled aside and he shed a tear. He shed a tear. I wonder if he shed a tear for 242 people died in the month of June while we are on our lockdown. So like the Vice President for Guyana, no statistics, no science. Where's the science, man? The economy going down the drain. How we building it back? Doma asking for more stiffer penalties, stiffer lockdown, but they're asking the government now to fund some of the 53,000 workers. Eh? It's saddened. That's the reality. This is the reality. So what evidence now, back to the VP in Guyana, what evidence we have that it's working? What? We late for vaccine. We're struggling to get because the administration moved late because it was not a serious matter in Trinidad. From 2020, it was never serious. Never. So how are we going forward? Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines have stated that while 4 new gangs were formed between 2019 and 2021, the total number of gangs declined from 211 to 130. Hines was responding to an urgent question from Naparima MP Rodney Charles. He stated that intelligence gathering by the TTPS revealed that 4 new gangs were formed in TNT since 2019.
Intelligence gathered by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service revealed 4 new gangs were formed in Trinidad and Tobago since 2019. However, the number of gangs were estimated to have declined to 130, with a membership of 1,014 persons as at 2020, Madam Speaker.
I wonder if he's proud, boy. I wonder if he's proud to say that. It dropped from 211 to 130. How come the head of these gangs are not in prison? They have the data. They know the gangs. They have TTPS, all different units. And gang activities is among 1.3 million people in our country. And they cannot get a scramble on it. They can't. They can't. But they bring outsiders to help us with gangs in Trinidad. 1.3 million people. All kind of sophisticated technology TTPS have. And still we have 130 gangs. And they're proud to say it have declined. What a bloody hell shame. In 2018, the Commissioner of Police indicated that there are 211 gangs, criminal gangs, with 2,400 members. Charles went on to ask if the number of gangs declined without the passage or proclamation of the Anti-Gang Act. However, the Speaker of the House did not allow the question.
Member for Naparima.
Speaker, if, as the Minister said, the number declined from 211 to 130, and this was done in the absence of the proclamation of the Anti-Gang Act, which was passed in this House on April 27, 2021. It means that that act I'm asking him. The question is, I'm asking him, was that act necessary to achieve this decline when it has not been proclaimed?
Not to allow that question as a supplement.
I need your
Why were you not allowed an important question like that? Did these gangs decline with the use of the Anti-Gang Act or not the use of the Anti-Gang Act? Which is it? That is a valid question. Why didn't the speaker allow the question? To sell out something, I wonder. To show facts that the anti-gang not working? Or is it to show the fact that the anti-gang working? Which is it? I would love to know. Did the act put them behind prison or the act did not put them behind prison? I would love to know that. Seeing that she denied the answer for the question, is there something to hide, I'm asking? Is there figures to hide? Is there something to hide? What is there to hide that you would not allow Charles to ask the question and Fitzy to answer it? Is there something to hide? We're looking at fixing Trinidad and Tobago. And that is an important question. Caller, good night.
Very good evening again, Mr. Said.
That's my friend.
I just want to say that Barack's point, your point, and the caller before was Oli hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
Oli was totally correct with his Sinopharm. Barack was correct about the disrespect. Bridget and George continue displaying her biased attitude. She's not fulfilling the duties as it ought to. And Christine Ganglu, the president of the Senate, is no better.
Correct.
But what I want to say, remember, I know you would remember, and most of the callers would remember, that the Attorney General and the Minister of National Security, that was when Stuart Young was the minister.
Minister, yes.
Remember, they said they know the registration numbers of the boats. They know the captain of the boats.
Yes.
They know the houses where the people was being
kept.
They know the numbers of the registration numbers of the vehicles that was
Yes.
taken in from point
Yes.
A to point B. And they did nothing. Nothing. No one was arrested, and that is human trafficking.
Correct.
Now they know so much of gangs that is existing. And what you're doing about it, nothing as usual. But what I want to tell you tonight is frightening. I heard this from a reliable source, and I am pretty sure I want to believe what I heard today. That few gangs they're talking about could very well be true. These few gangs, is comprised of mostly Venezuelans with a few Trinidadians. These fellas came in the country illegally, and the frightening thing about these fellas used to be in the Venezuelan military. And these guys were unceremoniously discharged from the military. And these are the people we're dealing with. So this is not no little pala bandit. These fellas are trained personnel. So Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, get off your lazy behind and do your job. Thank you.
Now, Fitzgerald Hines, not too long ago, was sworn into his office. These gangs did these gangs occurred under the former Minister of National Security, Stuart Young? And was he aware of it? If he was aware of it, how come, according to Fitzgerald Hines, these gangs are active? How come? How come? You see, the quoting figures 2,400 members, which means you have the name, the address, and the occupations of these individuals. But yet nothing is being done. 2,400 gang members to terrorize 1.3 million people. You know what's the sad part about it? Fitzgerald Hines said, intelligence gathering. That's the sad part about it. Intelligence gathering, and you do nothing. How come? Why? Tell Trinidad and Tobago, why are there gangs still existing in Trinidad? 1.3 million people. 2,400 gang members. 6,000 or 7,000 TTPS officers. But we have gangs. Now let's talk now. Talk. This is the reality we're living in. This is the reality. So what you get tonight is education. That is what all I get tonight. 1.3 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. Different arms of TTPS. Ministers are aware of the amount of gangs and the amount of individuals. We have 7,000 TTPS officers. Why can't they conquer 2,400 gang members? Why? To protect and serve. Huh? Let's talk now. You see, I don't just come here and brag my mouth, you know. I don't just come here and just open my mouth because I have a mouth in my head to talk. I come to educate. I come to teach. I come to show you all. And I come to edify you so you would understand. And the minister proud to come out in a briefing now and tell you and I, the country, this. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? He's proud to say the gangs drop from 211 gang to 130 gang. Does the gang leader have more say? I'm just asking. How much time? So viewers, this is the reality I am leaving with you on tonight's shows. You think about that. We're out of time for tonight, viewers, but nevertheless, we thank God for tonight. We thank God for tonight. So until we meet again for another terrific show of Real Talk with Saieed Ali, Allahum baraunde kalkadiza ma'ala zirkuba illa inta ma'utur kaba'ula azi. Open your eyes that God gave you. Open your ears that God gave you. And use the brain that God gave you to ask yourself, are we getting better? Until we meet again, good night.